Okay, I think mostly everyone is here, so let's get going. Welcome again to everyone to this, the final webinar for Preno Hoteliers Bootcamp webinar, Optimizing Pricing and Inventory. We want to provide hotel owners with the insights and strategies to optimize their pricing and inventory management. And obviously, we will cover other topics such as key metrics, dynamic pricing, the best practice for inventory management, and data-driven decision making. And obviously, throughout the webinar, you might have some questions, so feel free to drop them in the questions section below. Scotty will be monitoring it throughout, and he'll be responding to them. But don't worry, if we don't get to it, we have a Q&A session at the end. And yes, obviously, I'm not Menelik. He is sick at the moment with COVID, so I am subbing in. And this is a good segue to my intro. So hello, my name is Jessica, and I am from the customer success team at Preno. I've worked with operators for 5 years now with onboarding, training them on how to use Preno, optimizing their account to get the most out of the system. And I have seen how Preno and how these strategies have actually, improved their business. And I'm really excited to go through these with you today. Right. Yeah, and then today, obviously, we will be deep diving into pricing, inventory management, best practices for hotels, and how that would be easily done in Preno. So let's get into it. Revenue management strategies for hoteliers in the digital age. So to successfully manage a hotel, you need to anticipate the market demand and optimize pricing and inventory. And revenue management lets you use data and analytics to predict consumer behavior and make adjustments accordingly. And there are 3 key metrics which you are all probably familiar with. We've got RevPAR, ADR, and occupancy rate. And we'll get into more detail in the webinar. And these are the 3 key metrics that will help you make informed decisions about pricing and inventory. So RevPAR, revenue per available room. So this tells you how much money each available room in your hotel makes on average. And to calculate this, you just need to multiply your average daily rate by the occupancy rate. And it's an important measure of how well you're filling up these available rooms. And then the second one is ADR, average daily rate. And this tells you the average price guests pay for a room in your hotel. And this is also easily calculated by dividing the total room revenue by the total number of occupied rooms. And using this metric helps you understand your hotel's pricing approach and how well you're optimizing revenue for each room. And then thirdly, we have occupancy rate. This is the percentage of rooms booked at your hotel at a specific time. And to calculate it, you just need to divide the total number of occupied rooms by the total number of available rooms and multiply by 100. And this metric, provides you really valuable information about, your hotel's popularity, and this will guide your pricing and, inventory management choices. And then obviously by monitoring this particular metric over time, you can anticipate the demand, adjust the prices, and optimize your room allocation. And all these metrics are all in Preno, and the occupancy rate, is easily visible from the homepage on the grid. So, yeah. And then we have some examples here to show you how easy it is really to calculate the RevPAR. So you've got 2 properties here, each with different ADRs and occupancy rates, and you can see how it's calculated. And then obviously we do recommend that you calculate RevPAR for your own property. And then you can, adjust the ADR and the occupancy rate and find the perfect balance, I suppose, to yield the RevPAR that you want. So you can just play around with those calculations, and then figure out what works best for you. And obviously, because it's so easy to do, we do recommend that you track this over time and monitor the changes and make the adjustments. So next up, we have dynamic pricing strategies for hotel owners. So what is dynamic pricing? It's really just about flexing your room rates in response to market demand. And there are a few factors that influence dynamic pricing, such as, seasonality, events, competitor pricing. And using dynamic pricing, it really does help maximize your revenue and occupancy rates by ensuring that room rates remain competitive and also attractive to your potential guests. And now we're going to just look at some pricing factors for you to consider when creating dynamic pricing of your own. So first up, we have competitor analysis. So it's really important to know know your surroundings. What are your competitors offering, at their property? And by doing this, it will obviously influence your own pricing strategy. And also during this exercise, you will probably identify market gaps and opportunities for yourself. Competitor analysis is pretty easy. Just jump online, go onto any OTA, look in your area, Booking.com, Airbnb, you can just see, what everyone else is offering, what their prices are. You can go onto their websites as well, get some ideas, and also, staying updated on industry trends. Then we have cost-based pricing. So obviously, it's very important to know the cost of providing rooms and services, whether it's fixed or variable. You want to make sure that you're setting rates or setting the prices for your rooms at the right price, so you're not making a loss, but instead we're making profit. And also, it just ensures profitability over time as well. Value-based pricing. So this is, evaluating the perceived value of your property's amenities, location, services. So for example, if your property is located in the heart of the city, 5 minutes from the cafes and the shops, definitely capitalize on that, make sure the rate reflects that. Or it could be on the other side where, it's in a remote location with peace and quiet. People will pay for that, off the grid experience. So make sure your rate reflects that. And then also by doing this, this value-based pricing, it kind of, gives you opportunity for higher profits as well, because it better aligns with the guest expectations, so they know what they're getting. And I guess if you're not too sure about the value, how to get this value-based pricing, one way is to find it in the guest reviews and feedback, because they can definitely give you some insights that you might have not been aware of before. So yes, definitely worth checking out. Seasonal pricing. So, this is just adjusting your prices to reflect the fluctuations throughout the year. So that's peak season, you want to make sure you're maximizing revenue. And then during the low season, when it's a bit quiet, you want to attract guests as well, But obviously keeping in mind, you've got your cost base, so you don't want to make it too cheap. You want to cover your expenses. And then obviously you can look at the data in the system for, analyzing historical data to see if there are any patterns that might arise as well. Segment-based pricing. So this is when you define different segments of your customers, and then you can offer them different rates for the different groups like couples, corporate travelers, or families. And the benefit of this is to cater to, each group's different preferences and maximizing revenue opportunities there. And I know Damien Knowles is in the crowd somewhere, and I'm sure this resonates with him. He's totally on board with this. Damien, if you have any comments or feedback about segment-based pricing, put it in the section below. But yeah, it's all about selling the experience, not the rooms. And then we have length of stay pricing. So if people are willing, if people are staying long term, a week or something, you could consider, offering them a discounted rate just to incentivize, their longer stay or just coming again in future. This, obviously increases your occupancy and reduces your operational costs. And you can easily set your minimum nights in Preno. Like, you can set like a 4 or 5 night minimum. And also on the booking engine, we can set up the smart pricing where we can automatically apply a discount if a guest, goes into book and books 5 nights, will automatically apply like a 20% discount or something. So you do not have to worry about that. Cool. Next up, that's enough about pricing. So let's look at inventory management best practices for hotel owners. Oh, actually, I have gone a little bit quick. Let's have a look. Okay, so after going through the pricing section, are there any questions about pricing strategies that people want to ask about? Yeah, people really, have we all thought about, what influences your hotel pricing when you think about it? When you think about your rates, like what do you consider? What factors do you think about? Good question. So is the auto discount for multiple night stay something set up in Preno or SiteMinder? I'm not too sure about SiteMinder, but on Preno's booking engine, we can set up a rule behind the scenes. So if someone, books 4 nights minimum, we can automatically apply X discount, and that will be applied to the booking. Yeah. So I'm not too sure about SiteMinder, but I know with Preno's booking engine, you can. Another question. Can you set up auto discounts for return customers? What you could do is if you have a return customer, we could, in the Preno booking engine, we have a feature called promo codes. So you could create a promo code that is specifically for that returning customer. So whenever they book, they just input it and get that discount that you guys agreed upon. So, and then we can make it expire after X amount of days, or can be in perpetuity if they're VIP or something. Good question. Cool. Okay. Some good questions there. And if you have any more, feel free to just add them in the questions section. Okay. Let's get back to it. Right. Okay. Inventory management best practices. Okay. So, what is inventory management? So, yeah, this is all about, smart room allocation, understanding your demand, minimizing overbookings and cancellations, and, Preno can help with all your inventory because, it's your centralized control center for inventory, your one source of truth. So it's just one place you need to look at and sort of, manage it all. And then you're also able to gain insights into guest preferences to tailor inventory offerings. Alrighty. Oops. Okay, so here is a checklist we can go through. So smart room allocation. So this is all about maximizing your occupancy and revenue by allocating rooms strategically based on demand. So, for example, let's visualize this. So imagine I have, in my property, I have the 1-bedroom unit, which is always booked out. It's just one of our most popular rooms. But then I've got my 2-bedroom and 3-bedroom units which are just always empty. People are just not keen for this room type. So what you could do in Preno is you could shuffle the bookings around, move a couple of those 1-bedroom unit, into the 2-bedroom unit. Yes, it's an upgrade, but these rooms would have been empty anyway. So I'm just saying if this is like tomorrow or in 2 days or something. These rooms would have been empty anyway. So by moving these bookings into the 2-bedroom, you're freeing up your most popular unit, and it's likely to get snapped up again. So that's something to consider. And if that's something you could do at your property, you should definitely think about it. Right. Cool. Next one. Understanding demand trends. So definitely worth staying ahead by analyzing your demand trends, seasonality, special events that happen throughout the year. So if you, think about in your region, is there any special annual event? I know there's like the Bluff Oyster Festival that I really want to go to down south. That happens every year. Make sure maybe, put some time aside at the start of each quarter, look at the calendar, make sure your rates are optimized for these events. And, concerts, more people are, there are more concerts now with, less restrictions and all that. So you can go online, see which big acts are coming through to town and, bump up those rates. Don't miss out. Okay. And then we have reducing overbookings and cancellations. So we want to minimize disruptions by making sure you got, your booking policies are clear and you're managing your reservations effectively, right? So, for example, if you get a lot of cancellations and if they're really last minute, you want to make sure that you have like a cancellation fee in place to protect you because you do not want to lose out. And also, if you do have a cancellation fee, I think, guests are less likely to cancel on you. They'll probably think twice before doing so. So you just make sure your policies are there to protect you. Yeah. And yes, guest feedback, very important. So it's really worthwhile to monitor your guest feedback and just identify areas of improvement, in your offerings at the property as well, and also, tailoring your rooms and packages to meet the guest expectations. So you guys probably know this already, like the auto email feature in Preno is awesome. Like as soon as the guest checks out, you can send an auto email with a link to a review, for Google or something. They just click on it, takes 2 minutes, and you instantly have a that's like a set and forget situation, and that's definitely worth doing. And also, the more reviews you have, the easier it is to be found online. So that's an easy way to increase your online presence. Okay. Alrighty, that was inventory management. I'm just going to have a look at the questions here. We've got a few questions. Let's have a look. Okay, question. How to set up Google reviews on Preno? Oh yes, so very, very easy to do. So in your auto emails, you can create these templates, right? So all you need to do is add a hyperlink to your Google review. on your Google listing for your property, you just need to hyperlink it into the email. So as soon as you send it to the guests, they can click on the link and then they can just, immediately review your property. Really simple to do. Really recommend everyone does this. Yeah. What else do we have here? Can Preno give notifications for public holidays, school holidays in the system? So at the moment, we don't have alerts per se for, public holidays or events, but what you can do is actually use your grid to mark the different days. So I'm not sure if you guys know this, but obviously you have your room types on your room to manage your bookings. But if your subscription allows for it and you have extra rows, you can actually insert rows to keep track of events or public holidays. A lot of customers use it to manage car parks. We do have a help article on this in our library. If you look up events, there's a whole article on how to set that up, and also you can set it up so it doesn't affect your reporting. Like, it won't be included in occupancy. So definitely worth doing if you have the rows in your account, or you can just add more if you want to. You just need to increase your subscription. We can happily help you do that as well if you reach out to the team. Oh, can you show us? Okay, one moment. Let me see if I can pull this up. Okay, right. Let me share my screen. One moment. Okay, just gonna share the screen. Hang on. Okay. Hang on a moment. Okay, I hope everyone can see my screen. Okay, so this is my demo account, right? Okay, so as you can see here, I've got my room types that I get bookings for. And this is what I was talking about. If your account has extra rows in place, you have the opportunity to have like a miscellaneous section. So I've got like car parks and wait lists and events. So for example, like yesterday in Auckland, Florence and the Machine were here. So I had that in place. So, if I was nearby, near the event, I could make sure I bump up the price. So yeah, you essentially just add it into the grid like it's a booking. So if I just click into it, whoops. Yeah, so you just add a booking like you normally would, and you can just name the title of it so it's obvious. And then I just called it Florence and the Machines. Yeah, so yes, definitely recommend doing this. And Easter's coming up, Anzac Day, any other events. Yeah, you can definitely look into doing this. Very easy to do. Okay, cool. Good questions. Shall we move on? Okay, I'm just going to stop sharing my demo account and get back to the presentation. Alrighty. Okay, let me just stop sharing. And optimizing. Okay, cool. Back onto the presentation. Right, so in this section, we will be looking at using data and analytics for informed decision making. So yeah, data, it's everywhere. Your customer data is there for the taking. It's in Preno, it's online. You can use Google Analytics. If you're running a business, you cannot sleep on it. It's definitely worth using to identify trends and patterns in occupancy, revenue, and guest satisfaction. And I know you know that data is important, but don't forget it should inform your decisions. Okay. Oh, yes. If you have questions about how to set up the events, rows and all that, definitely reach out to the team. There's a little chat bubble there. We're here to help. Okay. Next one. Cool. And so, yeah, integrating the pricing and inventory management in the hotel strategy, this is kind of how everything comes together. So here are some tips and considerations for you guys. So aligning your goals. So make sure your pricing and inventory decisions align with, your hotel's overall goals. Like, are you trying to, increase customer satisfaction, increase revenue, target a specific segment in the market? Make sure you know what you're going for so you have direction. Flexibility. So obviously it's helpful to remain adaptable in changing market conditions, which we've all kind of experienced in the past 2 to 3 years. And, it's really important to remember that you can't implement these strategies, the pricing and inventory ones, without being flexible and adjusting them as you learn. And you can't have dynamic inventory and pricing strategies without flexibility. So these kind of go hand in hand. Monitoring performance. So yeah, it's very important to keep track of your metrics and analyze them regularly. Because I know there are some things you can set and forget, like, the daily admin, like I mentioned earlier, automated emails or auto payments. You can set and forget that. That will be sorted out in Preno. But when it comes to performance and, when you want to optimize revenue, that is the time when you want to track things and adjust it accordingly, and adjust it regularly, just keep on top of things. Yeah. And finally, continuous improvement. So yeah, that's probably why we're all attending this webinar today, to learn, new strategies to optimize your operations and increase efficiency. Because as we know, if you're doing the same thing over and over again, your outcomes will not change. And so it's really important to understand your business, what works for it, what doesn't work for it. Nothing is set in stone. And if you want your business to grow, make sure you use the data that is at your fingertips and, to make the best decisions possible. And that is the end of the presentation. We've come to the Q&A section now, so let's see if there are any new questions that have come through. All right. How do we add packages to Preno? Is there a workaround? Applies to direct bookings only. So in Preno, I guess most properties have like a standard rate, right? That's a room only that you advertise on your booking engine. But if you do want to do like a package, like, it includes a room, but also includes XYZ, I don't know, like a platter on arrival or a sunset dinner or, a hike or a massage or whatever, I guess you could, easily add another rate in Preno, and then we can connect that to your booking engine. So you've got like a standard rate and then like a package rate that is inclusive of XYZ. So that is possible if you want to have that offering on your booking engine. It's very straightforward to do. And if you reach out through the chat bubble, someone in our team will be more than happy to guide you through that process. Any other questions? Okay, cool. If you get a chance to ask your question now, don't worry, send them through. We can continue answering them. Just reach out through the chat bubble and our team more than happy to help you. But yeah, no, thanks for joining today, everyone. Hope it was helpful and enjoy the rest of your day. Oh yes, there's a recording, obviously. But yeah, we'll send that through to everyone who would like the recording. All right, thank you, everyone. Bye.